So let's get started. So make sure you pay attention, right? Get your mind ready to learn. So in some cases you'll be given compass directions. So something like this, you will recognize it right away. Okay, we're talking coordinates, right? Or a direction at least that we're headed. This essentially gives you the direction of one of the sides of the resulting triangle. It is important to read these carefully since the angles are not always inside the triangle. Okay, very important. Angles are not always inside the triangle. You should include a compass rose to get you started. So here you have it. I'm going to use a red pen here from time to time. So if you have something like a different marker for the actual direction we're headed, then this is the way to go. Note on the side here, if you ever see just SW, that's straight southwest, it is actually saying south 45 west, like it's right in between, because think of every section has a 90, right? There's a 90 between the northeast, northwest. So if you're right at 45, we just go southwest or northwest or northeast, whatever. If you get one of these, this is what it reads. Okay, write this down. It reads north 25 degrees west. That's what it reads. And what does it mean, right? It means the following, right? Start measuring from north comma, then turn 25 degrees west. Okay, so the meaning is really the most important part here. You need to know what that means, right? Like when you see that compass direction. So let's do exactly what it says. You want to say, okay, we start north. So you go anywhere along the north line, and then we'll turn 25 degrees west. So you literally turn, almost go arrow like this, and I'm going to use a ruler, right, and tell you that if you measure 25 degrees, that is where your actual direction is going. And the 25-degree angle goes here. If you've done orienteering, if you joined scouts or something like that, you've probably done this. You've probably wandered through the forest, or you did an exercise that showed you how to use this, right? Using a compass. Because in the forest, or especially on a lake, you can actually just go straight to where you want to go, right? You don't have to worry about like streets in the city. Good luck, right? You got to follow the streets, right? You got to go through the intersections and whatnot. But in the forest, lakes, airplanes, they can just go straight to where they want to go, right? So that's how you would. This is what north 25 degrees west means. To make things even more confusing, okay? If this is 25, then what is this? What's the other side here? Automatically, you go 90 minus 20, that's 70, right? Minus 5. This is 65 here. How else could you refer to this exact same path? Could we possibly start west and then say we turn 65 degrees north? Yeah, you can. So you can also write north 25 degrees west can also be stated as west 65 degrees north. They mean the exact same thing. I hope you're comfortable with that. Okay. Notice that these two always add up to 90. Right? These two add up to 90. And we flipped the north and the west, right? Like I flipped it on you. This one went there, and this one went there. Right? So they mean the exact same direction. No different. You'll be headed the same direction. South, 15 degrees east. I'm not going to tell you again how you read it. I'm not going to tell you what it means. Right now, we're just going to go ahead and find that, right? So you start south, and you turn 15 degrees east. You go this way, right? That's where east is. And you draw your line. Okay? And you make sure you put the 15 degree in here. It's a bit small, right? Sorry. I'm going to zoom into that a little bit. Make sure you put 15 degrees in here. It's between the south and the line, the actual travel portion here. So south, 15 degrees east, can also be written as east 75. Oh, you're smart cookies. Smart cookies. Yeah. So you got it right. Like if you were to go east and then turn 75 south, I don't recommend you doing that. I don't recommend you doing that on a regular basis. Like I wouldn't if a question gives me this, I stick with it. But you need to be comfortable if the question gives you this or this. It's the same steps apply, right? All right. So let's flip this the other way. If I gave you a diagram like here, if I gave you this, would you be able to give me the compass direction of the following? Like, where would you be traveling? And I kind of start with, the angle is in between east and the travel line right here. So I would start with east, and then I would just say, hey, 32 degrees south. Boom, you're done. Maybe allow me to, let's say, hey, the angle is touching east, so I start with east, right? Over here, where's the angle touching? The angle is touching the north line, right? It's between the path and north. So I will start with north, and then it's 71 degrees west. The book does a lot of this, a lot of compass directions. And the reason being is because it allows us to use alternate interior, alternate exterior, all those properties. That allows us to use that. And I will make a note of that right now. Right now, we have a bit of space here. So let's use this space right here, okay, to make a note. I'll box this in a bit. Note. North, south lines are parallel. East, west lines are parallel. Okay, you gotta know, you gotta remember that. If I have a north-south line happening on the right of my diagram and I have another north-south line happening on the left of my diagram, I need to know that they're parallel. And if they're connected, I can use alternate interior angles. So let's actually just sketch some scenarios right now. Okay, here we go. Page 23. Compass directions, word problem cases. Note that it's impossible to cover all possible scenarios, but you should get an idea after seeing a few. Okay. Sketch the following based on the description given. Example, you see a tree that is due east of you. Let's highlight the important information here. Due east of you. Okay, you see a tree that is due east of you. From the same location, you notice that a deer is standing. Okay, the deer is standing north, 40 degrees west of you. How far is the deer from the tree? And let's make a note right here. If something is due east of you, it means that it would be perfectly aligned with you horizontally, right? Due east, you're aligned horizontally in this case. If something is due north or south of you, it's perfectly vertically aligned with you. You're standing right above it or below it, okay? That's very important to remember. So how should we do this? Let's say you're standing right here. This is you, right? And you see a tree that's due east of you. So please put a compass rose on your study sheet because some students mix up west and east for some reason. I guess it happens. I do it. You will catch me here and there doing the same thing, but I usually catch myself as I draw. So if a tree is directly, I'm going to do this. You're going to make a compass rose right here, just a small one. Right? Wherever you are, there's always north, south, east, west. Okay? And so if something is directly east of you, okay, we're going to make sure we do that. So the tree is right, perfectly aligned with you. Okay? We're going to have the tree here. This would be east, right? Make a note of that. And then where's the tree? Oh, sorry, the deer. What does it say there? North, 40 degrees west of you. So this is my north line still, right? This is my north line. And it's 40 degrees west. So I go from there, I turn 40 degrees west. I put the 40 down, and then I proceed to draw my line. Okay? And this is the deer. We have no idea how far it is, correct? We just know that that's the direction. That's exactly headed north, 40 degrees west. And now we're going to close our triangle. So you will not necessarily see it closing until you draw it. Then you're like, okay, the question is asking me, how far is the deer from the tree? So that's when you close it. That's what is actually, this is X, right? That's what the question is asking you to solve for. Question, what is this angle right here? Like, we don't know what the whole thing is, but we can maybe put the puzzle together, right? What's this angle right here? There's that invisible north line meeting the east line, right? Going east. This is actually a 90. The question doesn't have to tell you that. It gave that away by telling you that the trees are directly east of you. So you can say, okay, there's a 90 here plus the 40. So angle Y for you, right, would be 40 plus 90. And so angle Y is effectively 130 degrees. So that's something important to remember. As you draw these things, you will get more and more information about the diagram. So sometimes I tell you to, or quite often I'll tell you, hey, draw what the question is giving you and then draw the triangle next, right? the one you're going to work with. Right? Okay, next. I want you to read this. Just read this for a moment. Very small, very, very small. Like use maybe this much space here. I want you to, you try. How would you sketch this? Maybe a little bit bigger. Okay, it's okay if you use a bit more. Maybe you can make it a tad bigger, but try to sketch this, what you see here, and put the numbers where you think they belong. Okay, we're not going to erase it. You're not going to erase it even if it's wrong. I just want to see, hey, remember, it's okay to erase. Just have a big eraser, okay? All you need is a big eraser and you'll be fine. I don't have my, oh yeah, right here. You got one of these, right? Or you get a pencil like that, something. Don't be afraid to erase. It's part of learning. You travel 12 kilometers in the direction north 30 degrees east. So now you have a distance associated with the direction. Okay, so that's how it's going to start looking like. Okay, so I'm just imagining I'm going north 30 east. So wherever I start, I'm going to kind of go this way, right? And then you turn and you go north 50 west. So I'm going to maybe start somewhere over here. Okay, and what you want to do is compass directions. I like to picture, right? There's your north, south, east, west line. Wherever you go, it follows you, right? So north 30 degrees east. So you start north and you turn. And so this is sort of what's happening. And you turn there. I'm going to make sure the 30 is visible there. This is basically where you start. Put down start or something like that. And here's where you turn. And remember that north, south, east, west line follows you, right? So you're going, in this case, north 50 west. This is the 50, right? Right? This is where I want you to pay attention to that. First of all, I forgot the 12 kilometers. Let's do that right off the bat. Okay? This is a 12-kilometer stretch. Now we have direction and we have distance. Then you turn north 50 west, right? You're going that way. How far? So for 7 kilometers, that's right. Can I just suggest something here? Please, where's my ruler? There. A lot of students do this, and it's kind of like it would make it easier. They're like, okay, this is here, so I'm going to make it perfectly line up. I'm just going to make it line up perfectly so that wherever I start, right, and end, it's directly due north of me or south of me. Don't do it. Okay, don't do it. So this is 12 kilometers. I'm going to intentionally make this shorter. I'm going to stop right there. I'm not going to line it up. Okay, so this is your closing. I call it the closing line, right? So question, is this angle here 30? Like the one I just created? Is this 30? Look at this line. Look at it carefully. It's cutting into my 30, right? It's not 30. And you're like, but Mr. Dixon, you put 30 there. That was just between the north line. This is the north line. I turned 30 east, right, and traveled there. Right? You're like, Mr. Dixon, this is too much for me. Start, turn, and I'm just going to call this end for now. That works for me. So what I want you to do is right now practice something with me. Remember the alternate interior mumble jumble, right? The north-south line, right? This is the north-south. This is a north-south line, correct? What do we know about this line and this line if we were to extend it? They're always parallel to each other, right? So this 30, I can bring this over. You don't have to tell me that that's alternate interior. You just know that it goes there. Okay, that 30 goes there. So this is the what do I call that in my notes? This is the story. This is the story. This is the triangle. Okay, I want you to, once you've done this, you draw your triangle. Now you don't need a ruler even. You just do one of these. Like that. We call this STE. Okay, STE. I know that this is not 30, but I know that this is 12 kilometers and this is 7 kilometers, correct? What would this angle be right here? Is there a way to get it? Do you see this one? Do you see this straight line here? And we brought this over, right? IKEA furniture, right? You brought the 30 in there. Yeah, this is 180. Subtract, hey, it's 80, right? So it'd be 100. So I'm going to show you this step here. That angle right there is 180 minus the 30 minus the 50. And that's 100 degrees, right? Angle T is 100 degrees. You know that by now. Highlighters are very important to me, right? So that 30 is here, and this 50 is here. And I would like to just say alternate interior angles are congruent. This is optional, but I just want you to know, how did I get the 30 here? So the 30 still helped me, correct? But it's not here. This is not 30. Because this line here, the dashed line, cut that off, right? So you basically, I don't want to mess it up. I just want to leave it like that right now. I think you'll get it at this point. What could you use here? What law would you use here to figure out how far are you from the starting point? So this is where you end, this is where you start. This is what is being asked of, right? This is SAS, so we'll use cosine law. Cosine law. And I will actually do that here. X squared is equal to 12 squared plus 7 squared minus 2 times 12 times 7 times cosine of 100. Do you remember what cosine of an obtuse angle, what does that give you? It'll give you a number that is negative, right? So this negative and the negative that results out of multiplying these actually goes to positive, turns positive, but you don't have to worry about it if you type it in all in one shot. So 144 plus 49 minus 24 times 7 times cosine of 100. That is root of 222.17, and that keeps going. 14.91 kilometers. That's how far you are from the beginning, from the starting point. Okay, I'm going to stop there, but hold on. I'm going to ask you, back side of this, there's a homework at the bottom of that. You see that, page 8 in the review booklet, in the workbook, I should say. There's actually only one compass direction question on there. I'll show you. It's called Trig Review A, right? Trig Review A. There's the Bush Pilot one, question 4, right there. That's the only one on this page that deals with compass directions, because you're still fresh, right? I don't want to overload, but also try the rest, right? There are other word problems, another word problem that is not including compass directions, some just basic solving, right? Solving a triangle, and look at this one, 2 triangles in one shot, right? So it's doable, right? You just have to deal with one triangle at a time. You know everything you need to know to solve for what's missing, okay? And I'll post the key for you there.